right? You know, so we're trying to get all that mix in there. But I think for me, the general super position, I'm delighted with it so far. You know, but maybe give me a reason. You know, give me some of the negatives. Like we don't do these videos to kind of just tell how great we are. Like, what are the challenges you personally? Because you're a builder, right? You build stuff. That's I think we always know that about you. And I think the guys that the names I've mentioned there, Chris in particular, Fred, Casey, all you guys, you're builders. And is there a sense, or what are the kind of negative things that you found with the role so far?
With the role itself is the ability not to build.
Yeah.
Building in the field on a day-to-day basis is an accomplishment.
Yeah.
You can look back at your 8 hours and say, I did that.
Yeah.
I have days where I look back and say, I got nothing done but phone calls and emails. So there's a sense of hands-on accomplishment.
Yes.
And trying to live, trying to get that sense of accomplishment out of progress on the job.
Yeah.
Whether it be information passing along, email chains, taking phone calls to calm guys down.
Yes. Yes.
That is one of the personal challenges that I have felt.
Yeah.
A challenge in itself is just trying to be at every job at once.
Right.
So I try to spend as much time with somebody as I can so that they have a good understanding of the next steps or the progression or where they're at on the job. With the amount of jobs and guys that we have across the 4 general supers, we're running from job to job. We're taking phone calls constantly.
Yeah.
You know, and I know guys can get complacent on their job and just see their job.
Yeah.
But there's, I mean, how many active jobs do we have right now?
52.
52?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in about 26, so we're off there.
No, you're 26 live jobs on right now, but 52 jobs have either been awarded and haven't even started yet, to jobs that are hanging out there with, you know, punch list stuff that's going to get done. Maybe there's no one there. But right now we're probably on about 26 jobs, actual electricians standing on a job site. There's 52 really running right now. I only looked at it last week.
Yeah. So with all the jobs, the hard part is communication as well. Communication between everybody, between the field team, myself, the PMs, pre-con, prefab, warehouse. There's those are some of the challenges as well. Yeah. You know, as the middlemen,
right?
You know, we try to close that gap, and to do that across 10 different jobs. It's very time consuming.
It is.
So the time consuming part of this position is a challenge in itself. Because of the accomplishment aspect as well.
Right. And it doesn't stop, right? You know what I mean? It's like when you typically have a job, you're there at 6 a.m., you finish at 2:30, right? That's your day done. You know, you guys probably hang out, you're there a half an hour early, maybe an hour later, just finishing up a few things as a typical foreman. Whereas these phone calls, as you said earlier on, they start at 5 in the morning and don't stop till 7 in the evening. Because guys are, you know, things are changing, you know, people are out the next day. There's a lot. And I also feel like that it's gotten better from what it was last October, where we are now in June, where we're going to be in October of 26, 27, it's going to evolve. And I think the other piece of it that I think, with all of that being said, what you just said, and I think it's not going to change that thing of getting used to the fact that you're not physically in the hole, making sure that job is getting done correctly, or you're not seeing that electric room being built from start to finish. You're very much involved in it at different stages to understand it, and depending on the foreman and what they're doing and how capable they are, you'd have less hands in than you would normally. But I think as we start to scale the company, we're starting to look at, you know, you guys, your role is almost on a pedestal, right? That's where we want certain people, if they want to get on and start running work, great. Then maybe you want to become a general super. And as we expand to 200 electricians, to 250, the idea for me is everything we design is towards scale. So there could be a 5th general foreman, you know, that general super that comes in. There could be a 6th general super. And now the role is more defined in what you're doing. And then there comes into it a point where there's project coordinators, where we take out pieces of what you do that you're saying, look, I don't know if I should be doing this. The hourly rate that I'm on, the way I want to affect jobs. And that's the thing, as a company, we're always trying to look, right? You take that role, let's do it for a year. All right, guys, let's sit down. What's working? What's not working? You have your meeting every Friday morning, right, before you get together with Rob Perino as our project executive and Tim Caggiano. That's a great meeting every week. You guys get in there. Tim always kind of laughs. We used to have that meeting where we'd walk in and sit there for 2 hours trying to figure out all the problems. You guys seem to walk in and have most of the solutions figured out, and we're going to deal with the other stuff, right, that comes up. But one of the things I wanted to talk about before we finish is the general super form that we fill out, right? That's something that we created because that was the first thing I kind of worried about when we created this position was, if we create this position, we need to have some way of understanding in the office what actually is happening on the job. It cannot be stuck with the general super where they walk onto the job, walk around, make a few notes, know what they need to do, leave. Right? We need to gather data off of what you guys are doing. So one of the things we created was the general super form. It's what, 20 questions, 25 questions,
Yeah, so 25
observations,
questions,
more sort of
yep.
questions, right?
Yep.
How have you found that
Grading.
form, and how has that helped?
It's a convenient form.
Yeah.
Because I used to do site walks, and then I would do an email back to the team. Like this is what I saw on site today. And between the day-to-day operations, sometimes you forget about it, and then it's 8 o'clock at night, you forgot some details.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps out having that.
Yeah.
And I can send that form to the foreman, to the PM, to the safety officer, and everybody has visibility on that. So even though I have a verbal conversation with you on site about what I'm seeing, what your next steps, what feedback I'm given, you have it in writing. You have that form. So if you forget our conversation, you can also go back to that.
And it's a timestamp of every time you're on the job, you know, what did I last do, the record.
Yeah, a good way for you to track to make sure I'm doing my thing.
Right, yeah. No, it is, because I think, you know, one of the things with it too is we have a job health column on that, and it's the RAG effort as regards red, amber, or green on the project, right?
Overall projection of the job.
So that's you could look at it, and one of the things on this general super meeting that we do on a Friday morning is we hit the filter and we go red jobs top, and we just look at the red jobs. So that's what you guys would have saw in the last week, that you're saying our job is in the red that hasn't moved out of red. You were on site, hey, we got this and this. I'm going to be back there Tuesday, Monday. We're sending this individual. I think that's going to help the fire alarm get pushed. The low voltage is a little bit behind. He needs maybe some more help there, right? That kind of stuff. And again, that's all that communication side of things, right? That helps the company. Because again, as you scale, the worst thing that can happen is that we all become busy fools. We put a top line revenue and go around talking about how great we are, and no one's making any money, right? We get to the reviews and bonuses and people are going, we're a bigger company. I don't see it in my paycheck. That's the fear I have. And I think these forms and these positions and these methods are to allow us to continue to learn, right? And then, because when you have these forms, you can start to take data from them and understand how jobs are progressing. That's the next piece of it.
Right.
And it is, honestly, it's an accountability effort, right? That when the general supers are out there, that they don't end up in a spot where, all my jobs are going in the wrong direction. I don't really know why. The form's designed that you're able to see, hey, well, yeah, I can see here the PPE wasn't great when I walked onto job site and I had some issues with it. I need to talk to Xavier and Christian and Adam. Or I went to the job site and I saw the prefabrication wasn't installed correctly. There's an issue there. I got to talk to Chris Martell and go, hey, you sent those skids out wrong, or you sent this out wrong, or that was all right, but the guys didn't put it in correctly. Where do we miss something here? All of that, right? You know, I think it's, look, I'm very excited about the position. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job with it. I think it brings us to another level as a company. I'm delighted for you in particular as regards, you know, your role in it. And I think the mentorship thing that I started out with is so critical. I think you're a phenomenal mentor for our people. I have a son myself. If we got into the trades at 17, 18, I'd be delighted that you would be the one he'd be working with. And I think that's something, I think, with Carter, your son, he's in the trades.
He's in the
right?
trades,
And son to dad can be tough sometimes. It's not exactly the same relationship as someone else's son, right? But how have you found that? You know, you're plenty proud. He's flying it. You know, you're enjoying watching his career blossom.
I am. Yeah, I'm trying to push him. You know, like you said, I'm still being dad. Take that next step. And but I am very proud and look forward to where he's going to go in life. He's got his own desires and goals set, and I couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, he'd be a licensed electrician soon enough. And you know, when in this industry, in this world right now of AI and robots and the future that they're all scared of, you got a kid that's heading to be a qualified electrician. You have nothing to be worried about. Number one, right, there's going to be jobs. Number two, it's such a discipline. If you're with a company like ourselves, I know Carter's with a good company too, like they will make sure that they're rounded individuals, because you cannot be successful in this industry if you're a dick.
Nope.
It just doesn't work anymore. One time you could shout your way through a project. Doesn't really work anymore.
And the amount of growth that you have in the industry.
Yes.
You know, you don't just stop at a journeyman.
Yes.
So there's always a next tier. There's always a next level.
Continued education. Right. Yeah. No question. I think it's many different forms. But no, I'm delighted we're here at Tingsboro. As I said, TJ came out to meet me today. He's out here meeting with Mike Erling, who's the foreman on the project. And we'll check back in a bit, TJ, and see how things are going. Still, if the positives are outweighing the negatives, we'll keep on that. But thanks for coming out to meet us. All right.
Thanks, TJ.
Thanks, TJ.